And welcome back to It's All Connected. I'm Corbin Shanklin, I'm journalist for the Illuminerdi, one of the hosts of the show. These are my co-hosts.
What's up, guys? I'm Richard Nebens, another journalist here at the Illuminerdi. Glad to be back for another week of It's All Connected, and got some good stuff to talk about.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Bryce West, a writer and editor for the Illuminerdi.com, and I'm ready to talk all things Marvel, DC. I don't think we have Star Wars. Star Wars has been quite quiet here recently, but quiet on things that we're going to talk about on the show. But
with a special guest appearance by Agatha Harkness behind you.
Nope.
Spoiler
where
alert.
is it? Nope. How do I point to it? Whatever. The Queen.
There you go.
The Queen.
There you go. Nice. So yeah, obviously we got WandaVision to get into. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got Marvel news, DC news, but WandaVision's going right now. We always love to talk about the Marvel show that's running. We'll do this Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki and so on and so forth. And it'll be a good time to talk about those. So what did you guys think of the latest episode? Give me your thoughts.
What did we think?
For me at least, it wasn't actually one of my favorite episodes overall, but we got such big reveals this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to spoiler territory, so I'm going to give everybody a spoiler alert now.
I think we're already there.
If you haven't tell already. The Monica superhero transition was awesome. I actually liked that a lot better than I thought I was going to. And then obviously the song that's been stuck in our damn heads for 3 days. I mean, just absolutely great. So, great episode overall.
Looking back on this episode, I feel incredibly stupid that we haven't seen this coming the whole time. Her name was literally Agnes. I mean, I feel like but it's all because of the Mephisto stuff. Like the Mephisto stuff, completely overtook the Agatha rumors.
I've definitely mentioned it on the show. I don't know what episode.
Yeah.
Well, we've definitely speculated that it's been her.
Yeah, but it's never been she's the one in control. It was maybe she's like a henchman or something, and maybe she still is just a henchman to Mephisto.
We still don't know.
But yeah.
See, and that is kind of one of the big questions.
But it seems like, have we talked about Ultron theory on here yet?
I mean, the odd James Spader thing, but not. Are you talking about with the head of Sword?
Yeah, Hayward.
I don't think so. You can tell us about that if you like.
I do think so, but I'm starting to think that if all of these theories are supposed to come true, like this show is just going to get way too overboard with the twists and reveals here at the end. I think.
There's only 2 episodes left, so
I know. And so I'm hoping that they keep it at Agatha, and this was the reveal, because I'm afraid that they're just going to go completely overboard, and it's just like reveal here, and this is how this was behind this, and this was behind that, and it's just like I mean, at some point you got to kind of tone it down a little bit, and I feel like Hayward is Ultron, in disguise, because that was a thing that has happened in previous incarnations. He disguises himself as an FBI agent to get to Vision, and which is pretty similar to what Hayward is doing right now. He's a sword agent. He wants to get to Vision specifically for some weird reason. He seemed really nice in his first episode 4, and then all of a sudden, boom, whenever they realized that Vision was in the Hex, there's something just completely turned. And so we've still got to reveal what's going on with Hayward. Why does he want to get to Vision? And then we still got to reveal who Quicksilver is, because not Quicksilver.
He ain't Quicksilver. That is not Quicksilver.
So who is Agatha's son in the comics?
Nicholas Scratch.
Nicholas Scratch. That's the
which
theory.
Senor Scratchy.
Uh-huh. Yes,
that's the theory that I'm behind. My dad. We talk about. We heavily. But basically, it's the only thing that we talk about now is WandaVision. and he brought up Nicholas Scratch, and I definitely think that's probably where they're going with Evan Peters.
That could be a good one. Yeah.
I also think that he's going to be Ralph in this. Westview. I think that would be hilarious.
Oh my God!
If he was Ralph the whole time.
Well, the Ralph thing is going to be great when we find that out.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to reveal who Ralph is, right?
They have to.
So
yeah, she mentioned him again in this episode.
Yeah. So It's been this constant like, oh, Ralph this, Ralph that, you know. And so I feel like they finally they got to reveal who it is at some point. So,
and also, can I just say about this episode too? The Agatha theme song, total ripoff of the Munsters, but it was great, and I love that. Also, the fact that Catherine Hahn actually sang it, very impressive. And then the opening theme song was just a blatant ripoff of The Office.
Oh,
and that was amazing.
I loved it. Yes, absolutely.
Me too.
You know, this was the episode, the episode that I've been asking for. You know, the mix between Modern Family and The Office. You know, I knew that we weren't going to get full Office because of the whole family aspect. So obviously, it was going to lead more heavily towards Modern Family. But the theme song was just The Office, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, definitely a highlight of the episode right there.
So I think I really enjoyed the episode. You know, you talk about, you know, you're concerned that there's going to be way too much that's going to get overboard. You know, in this episode, we got two big reveals here, right? You know, you mentioned Monica, obviously Richard, her getting her powers, and I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought visually, you know, I like the glowing eyes, I like the blue.
Love that. That was cool.
She's got going on. I was down with it. I kind of expected that's what was going to happen. You know, that like the hex would be what would give her powers. Not obviously not at the beginning, but as we got,
especially after Darcy's comment in the last episode.
Yeah, 1000%. Speaking of Darcy and Vision, their banter kind of interaction.
That was great.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I loved Vision's talking head segments in the episode.
Yes,
that was hilarious. Yeah, those were really good.
Another fantastic part of the show for me was the commercial this week, because it was
that
Nexus
was great.
Pills, right? And to me, when I think Nexus and I think Marvel, I think the Nexus of all realities, which is tied to Man-Thing, right? And I love Man-Thing. He's a great character. He's like Marvel's equivalent to Swamp Thing, and.
You know, I get those two. I forgot that those were two different characters.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, those are two completely different. Yeah,
for sure.
And he's been hinted at in the MCU a couple times before. There's in Thor Ragnarok, there's a big building in Sakaar that's got like him and Beta Ray Bill and
he is on that.
And then they name drop him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And
they do. I just watched that episode.
And Iron Man 3, one of the AIM bad guys that's fighting Tony after like his suit's kind of messed up. That character is Ellen Brandt, who is historically the wife, or the ex-wife of Theodore Salas, the man.
Okay, all right.
So I'm like, they've been, you know, you three different franchises have teased Man-Thing. Now we got WandaVision hitting me with the Nexus pills. I'm like, please give me that big green swamp monster. I want it. You know,
and I love the Nexus. I love the Nexus thing too, because it could have been the Nexus of all realities thing, and they did the Nexus in Age of Ultron. Also, the whole the world internet hub that Tony was trying to infiltrate while they were trying to take down Ultron.
That's a good.
So it's kind of a double reference there. I mean, all of them, I think, almost have tied back somehow to Age of Ultron.
Yeah, so that was awesome.
I'm interested to see how the commercials are going to tie in.
I agree.
I
don't know if we're going to get any more, but
I still don't understand the Yo magic. That one did not make sense.
Me neither. That one is that one's tough.
That's been like,
but I mean, they all have
one of the hardest mysteries of the show so far. Was Yo magic?
You know, I feel like the commercials are like the what if of this whole show. Like we know what if is in phase 4. We know it's connected to somehow, but what does it have to do with anything? Because they're like, I've said this like probably like a million times in the show already, but they're not just doing what if for fun, right? You know, there's a reason that what if is a part of the phase 4 lineup.
We just don't know it yet.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the commercials all kind of connect with the show as a whole.
For sure.
Definitely. And I think, so going back to Agatha, your buddy right beside you, Bryce, the question of,
that is giving me eerie vibes of that picture that you have that is now my Twitter background picture of me behind
the thumbnail. Richard has watched WandaVision.
That was a good one. I remember that.
Definitely the best thumbnail I've ever made. Definitely the most time I put into a thumbnail.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh, yeah.
So the question of Agatha and where her power stems from, I think it's entirely plausible that Agatha just is the villain, and that's kind of it. You know, it's her versus Scarlet Witch that gets resolved. We move forward. You know,
right?
But and also I do think it's worth mentioning that is kind of the classic Marvel way. It's something that people kind of got fed up with over time. Would be that Marvel would have a movie. It would be kind of a origin story type thing, and then they would fight the bad guy with the same powers as them.
Yeah,
she literally looks like Purple Scarlet Witch at the top of this episode when she's like, "I'm a witch too, son." It's like, okay, cool,
right?
Like, totally. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what they do. I hope that it's really weird, crazy stuff. That's always what I want from Magic and in Marvel, and what I want from like DC with Dr. Fate and stuff like that. Like, I want it to be just weird and insane, because that's what this show is all about. So
I mean, look, it could be worse. I love MCU Spider-Man to death, but it could be Iron Man did this to me, so I'm gonna fight Spider-Man. Like a complete nonsensical backstory, has nothing to do with Spider-Man. And
I didn't mind it in Homecoming. It kind of bothered me in Far From Home.
Oh, it really bothered me in Far From Home. Like I've got some major issues with Mysterio. I love his portrayal. I love Jake Gyllenhaal in the role.
Yeah.
But the whole Spider-Man was mean to me, so I'm gonna fight or Iron Man was mean to me, so I'm gonna fight Spider-Man.
Right.
And then and it's just like Iron Man's kind of dead. You don't really him fighting Spider-Man doesn't really make any sense. And then the whole soapbox speech that he did, it's like, I'm going to describe my evil plan to my evil minions who already know my evil plan. Like, oh man, yeah, that was a really stupid part of the movie. Like honestly, Far From Home probably could have been my favorite live action Spider-Man movie if it weren't for that. But that part just completely takes me out of the movie. It's the stupidest crap I've ever seen in Marvel, honestly. But
glad we got the Bryce Far From Home rant in there.
Yeah, so leave it to me to come in with the irrelevant rants. But I'm excited to see what the motivation is for Agatha.
Me too.
Why is she doing this to Wanda? Like right now, that part really makes no sense at all. Because the whole Mephisto thing is like it's all about the kids. But with this now, it's just, what is the point of her doing this?
So
I'm betting we'll get that early in episode 8.
I have a bit of a theory on that. All right, so kind of, and I have a lot of thoughts on Agatha. So this might take me. It's going to be the Corbin Agatha rant. So in the case of Agatha, I think it is quite likely that somehow Scarlet Witch and Agatha met. And the Scarlet Witch was distraught of sound mind, and they made a plan. Right, and they worked together, but maybe it was the process of creating Westview. Maybe it was Agatha turning on her at the last minute, hitting her with some sort of mind wipe thing. Somehow,
so this before all of WandaVision.
Yeah. Somehow, some way, Wanda kind of lost her grip of what the hex really was, who Agatha was, something like that. And
I think you're on the right track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue your thought. Yeah.
I mean, that's the main thing about it. The question still remains, is she just interested in mentoring Scarlet Witch at that point, teaching her? But because her intentions seem kind of sinister at the top of the last episode. And so then there's a question of the book, right? And so is that the Darkhold? And the question of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, because I just do want to address that real quick. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's the Darkhold, right? This book obviously has a different cover than that book. And so could it be that it's just Westview and this is, in fact, the same book? Possibly. I still find that kind of unlikely, as much as I want Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to have concrete WandaVision tie-ins. I just don't know that that's it. It's kind of like the soap thing, the Hydra soap. I'm like, I hope that's a nod to it, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But so if it is the Darkhold, though, that's interesting, because the Darkhold is a book of black magic and spells and stuff that was written by this elder god named Chthon, right? And it's actually in the comics where vampires and werewolves originate from. They're from spells the Darkhold. That's how they get started.
Which could spell some stuff for Blade later if they do that route.
It could totally be set up for Moon Knight and Blade here. Presuming we get werewolves and stuff in Moon Knight,
right?
Which I know isn't guaranteed, but I would hope so.
There's a chance.
Yeah. Regardless, Chthon's like, so I guess back like it's very kind of like the Eternals, where it's like very origin of the earth kind of mythology that Chthon's thing is. So like I said, he's an elder god. So like Gaia would be like his sibling, like the earth god Gaia, right? But he was super corrupt and evil and bad and dark and and super strong. So he got locked away in another dimension, but he left his book. And the book basically will kind of corrupt you and take you over. You'll follow the Chthon's influence. And the goal is to bring him from his realm back to Earth so that he can rule it over, you know? So that could be what's going on here. It could be that Agatha is basically a servant of Chthon, and she's like, let me get Scarlet Witch, who's incredibly powerful, teach her, get her on my side, and then we bring Chthon in together. And then maybe Chthon's the big, you know, multiverse ripping open crisis thing, like Doctor Strange has got to deal with that, you know, like
the connection between WandaVision and Doctor Strange.
Be a character that you could up the ante from someone like Dormammu with, you know, and basically, you know, have this big, super powerful, dark deity come into our reality and actually cause lasting damage. That's explored over the course of several movies and TV shows. You know,
I Corbin, I think you're on the right track with the Agatha theory. You know, her kind of controlling Wanda, because I mean, we see in Westview, you know, they say that witch has been controlling me. That you got to stop her. You got to stop. Or whatever. Turns out that was actually about Agatha and not Wanda.
Right. They were super vague on it.
Right. Yeah. But so we've seen that she has the ability to like control people and make them do things. So I think it's very possible that Agatha made Wanda go infiltrate Sword and steal Vision. And, you know, this is all her, like Wanda is being controlled. You know,
that's kind of one of the fun things I think about a character with who's got a power set like Agatha Harkness, like these magical beings, or specifically telepaths. Like it's something that you see explored a lot with Charles Xavier, and I would love to see in the MCU, where it's like, can you really trust this person if you know they have the ability to just get in your mind at any moment? You know, even if you can't, you know, you don't have any memories of them like turning on you or having ill intent.
The fact that they can.
Yeah, that they have that option, and you may not ever know. You know, like
absolutely,
that's something that I'm super excited to see explored in the final 2 episodes. This is crazy, guys. The final 2 episodes of WandaVision right around the corner.
And there is still like so much footage from the trailers that we still haven't seen. Like I remember in the original Super Bowl trailer that premiered over a year ago now, there was that one scene of Wanda in the 50s setup where she's going Vision residence, and then it cuts to her like looking more like a normal reality, going crazy and everything, and Vision's all in black and white and everything. So I'm kind of thinking there's going to be a few moments in these next couple episodes where all these different realities start blending in with each other, and everything just goes absolutely berserk.
I definitely would like to see that. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're teasing it. So my question still lies with the kids. You know, what are they doing there? How did they come into existence? You know,
for sure.
Where are they?
What did
now?
Agatha do with them?
What
did Agatha do with them?
Y'all want to hear my theory on it? I got it for the kids. All right,
so go for it. Okay,
here's my theory. All right, the kids are there to basically create something that you can control Wanda with. Okay, so earlier on the show, I've explained that in the comics, they were kind of made from essence of Mephisto's soul, and Agatha kind of helped with that process. That was something she was directly involved in. Okay, and I know this is a big stretch. Okay, but you remember the fly on the wall?
Yeah, from the last one
in the episode. Yeah. So in I believe it's the current ongoing Avengers run. It was like issue 38 or something like that. It was a story that was taking place in the very beginnings of the Marvel universe, and there was this like fallen celestial, right? And his like kind of blood and stuff was getting into like the Earth's kind of biosphere, basically seeding the planet with the potential for like superhuman life. It's kind of what they were going for. And Mephisto is there as a fly, kind of like laying maggots, I guess, I'm not really sure what the purpose was. But the point is, Mephisto, recent comics, as a fly, creepy, ominous fly in WandaVision, you know, maybe Maybe no. But
it's possible. You know what? Anything is possible in this show.
The rabbit could be Nicholas Scratch, and then the fly could be Mephisto, and then that makes that scene pretty cool. Because right now it's just a weird, creepy scene with a rabbit and a fly. But maybe that's two powerful dark magic beings just chilling, hidden, but in plain sight.
Just chilling.
Exactly. Exactly. But so the question though is Agatha the villain, or does she draw her power from a being like Mephisto? Or
is she more
pawn? She's
well, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's Agatha all along.
It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, for me. It was Agatha all along.
I wouldn't,
don't know.
I wouldn't place too strong of a bet on it just being her right now, because even looking like the Ancient One, in Doctor Strange, like she was pulling her power literally from Dormammu,
from the dark dimension,
and the dark dimension, and she was wicked strong, and we know Agatha's super powerful as well. So it's like, I think it's quite possible there is a similar thing going on here.
Right, it's possible that her powers could be coming from Mephisto, but I don't think that Mephisto anymore has a huge role in what's going on. For me,
right?
I'm still really confused about the kids. There's
a lot of
because that is that is a big Mephisto thing in the comics. So I'm a little confused about that. But if the whole it's Agatha all along segment with the Monsters song, I feel like for me that's the show telling us that this is the reveal, this is the bad guy for me.
Yeah,
well, at least from a show, like a writing standpoint, you don't reveal her as the bad guy. Say it was Agatha all along, and then go,
and then pull another one.
Yeah.
But we know that this has to feed into Doctor Strange too, to some degree.
Right.
And I don't know. This is a gut feeling. This is instinct. But in my heart, I feel that it'll probably be something villainous that kind of sets up Doctor Strange 2, whether that is Agatha or Scarlet Witch, or maybe Scarlet Witch and Agatha duke it out, and that's the end of this show. But, cliffhanger, final reveal, there's some other villain like Nightmare or Mephisto or Chthon or whoever, set up for Doctor Strange 2. Because we still don't know who the villain of that is,
At this point, I'm convinced that Wanda will probably just become Doctor Strange's like apprentice,
that's what I'm thinking too.
If she comes out of this with her head on straight, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not counting on that though. I really kind of hope I hope that this
there was that moment
honestly, I hope that it's not like that, but I think that's the way that they're going.
It feels quite probable.
Teasing. There was the moment in the last episode when Monica got into the hex and she was saying to Wanda, don't let yourself become the villain. And Wanda, I think, said something like, maybe I already am or something. I mean, they're teasing Wanda being the villain. I don't know if they're going to go full on that route, but they're certainly laying down the base for it.
It could be one of those deals. Like, Doctor Strange is Obi-Wan and Scarlet Witch is Anakin. Where they're going to become master and apprentice. He's going to try and take her in, but she's still a wild card. She kind of does her own thing, doesn't necessarily go by the rule book, and so and then maybe she could even turn even more than she already has in this. But I do really think that she's probably going to end up being at some sort of apprentice role in Doctor Strange too. Maybe Mordo could turn her.
That'd be crazy. So the Mordo Scarlet Witch team up,
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be good.
Kind of like I don't know if you watch Fantastic Beasts, but Grindelwald and what was her name? Freaking, I can't remember. But the girlfriend of Jacob. But you know what I mean. But just a kind of similar scenario to where, like, it's things aren't necessarily really what you seem. The good guys aren't necessarily full on good guys. There are some things that, like we've seen in Civil War, where the good guys can mess up really bad. And so if that's pointed out to somebody like Wanda, Wanda was on the wrong side of things back in Civil War.
Right.
So I don't know.
Your Mordo thing got me thinking for a second. What if it's like a trade? What if the Hex is Vision, or what if like Wanda's trading her powers to Agatha to have Vision revived and to have her kids and to have a family, like a normal life, right? And Agatha's teamed up with Mordo because Mordo's got his whole, no more sorcerers,
too many sorcerers,
sorcerers thing going on. And so this is Agatha taking Scarlet Witch off the playing field. What if
it's like a deal with the devil, but they decided not to do the deal with the devil, but they did the deal with Agatha instead.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
that'd be
so it's pretty much like Mephisto theory, but except with Mephisto in the role, it's Agatha. So
yeah, we got so much to get into the last 2 episodes. This is gonna be nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these last 2 episodes are probably going to be the most insane out of all of them.
Well, we know
because we're done with the sitcoms, at least as far as I know. I mean, I don't know how you go back to a sitcom after that. So
elements will still factor in, I'm sure, but it definitely I think is going to be
maybe little teases, but
like what Richard said,
style.
Like it's like cutting in every once in a while, like that reality is crumbling down on her.
Mm-hmm. So, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I'm definitely looking forward most to is Doctor Strange showing up because that's basically been confirmed, like effectively.
Yeah.
And so
I'd be shocked if it was somebody different.
And I'm pretty sure that's the big, like
Luke Skywalker level cameo.
And people are going like, it's Professor X, it's Magneto, it's like, but it's like, come on, guys. Like,
so we've discussed this one on the show before, and I actually do want to mention something that I do think is quite important here.
Go ahead.
So Doctor Strange, I think, is going to be in it just because there was the reports that definitely made it seem like that's what was going down, like several reports. But Paul Bettany has talked about someone showing up, a big crazy cameo, and he said it's an actor he's never worked with. Right. And I thought that fit Benedict Cumberbatch. They were in a movie together in 2009, so he's not talking about Doctor Strange.
Really?
So it's Strange, and then at least one other big crazy thing.
Okay, but let's keep in mind here. I'm not saying that this is the case because it's very well possible that it could be someone else. I just have been told, from the very beginning that Doctor Strange is going to be in it and at the very end. So I've just always assumed that it's Doctor Strange. That's the big character. Yeah. It is still possible that it could be someone else. That does kind of raise some eyebrows now because it was just like he was never in a scene with him in Avengers.
Here's just a crazy thought that I had before we move on. What if Doctor Strange comes in sort of like a Nick Fury and Iron Man kind of role, like right at the very end, and then the other big cameo is more of like an integral plot point during episode 8 or 9.
I don't know.
It definitely could be.
Now that's got me kind of excited that I don't know who the person is. Because this whole
Can't
time,
wait to find out though.
This whole time was like, well, I already know that Doctor Strange is the big Luke Skywalker thing, and I still am kind of on that route. But yeah, it is kind of weird. Paul Bettany's comment. I mean, obviously, again, Marvel is typical in doing. They do this all the time, where they do a little something called they just straight up lie. And just say things
to what's going on here
to completely misdirect people, and so. Yeah. I still think that that's definitely on the table. That it's just going to be Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too shocked if that's the case, but it gave me hope to realize that Bettany and Cumberbatch had worked together in the past because it's definitely exciting, because it's cool to know stuff about the show before it goes on, but it's also really awesome to have stuff that you don't know what to expect.
Of course, yeah,
that's what this show's been best about.
Honestly, I'd rather be surprised than be. Than
know what's happening.
Yeah. So me too. Obviously, I would prefer it be some crazy like Patrick Stewart's gonna show up and it's gonna be crazy. I highly doubt it. Still, but
we're in for a crazy ride these last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Unless either of y'all have more thoughts on this week's episode,
I think I'm good.
Then in that case, Richard, do you want to tell the people about Assembled? We got news on that.
Yes,
because that pertains directly to WandaVision.
So we had talked about this a few weeks ago. If WandaVision was going to do something like the gallery series that Disney Plus did for The Mandalorian, which was basically like a behind the scenes look at how they did everything, interviews with directors and cast and everything. They've officially announced that this may also confirm that every single week of 2021 is filled with Marvel content, which would be awesome. That there's a new show that's coming out called Assembled on Disney Plus, which is going to be a look back at WandaVision. It's going to premiere on March 12th, which for fans following along is the week between when WandaVision ends and when the Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts. So That's going to be really exciting. I don't know exactly what they're going to do for it, but it's going to be great getting a behind the scenes look at WandaVision.
You know, whenever we talked about this on the show already, but whenever Marvel Legends was a thing, like right before WandaVision, I expressed my extreme disappointment that it wasn't, you know, a Marvel, a Disney Gallery kind of thing. Like, because with the Disney Gallery, you know, originally they didn't do this for season 2 of The Mandalorian, but originally they had a Disney Gallery episode for each episode of The Mandalorian, going specific into the making of that specific episode. In season 2,
each episode,
in season 2 they just did one big episode, but I was kind of really looking forward to that for WandaVision. You know, after episode 1, you know, we get a look into the making of episode 1. Looking back on it, I understand why they totally shouldn't have done that with the, you know, whole mystery aspect behind the show. So I'm glad they didn't do it like that. But Marvel Legends still kind of confuses me. Just, you know, it really just seems like a YouTube video. Like the best moments of Wanda, the best moments of
Marvel
Vision.
Legends, but that I see such potential for Marvel Legends. They may never utilize it in the way that I hope they will, but personally, I dig it.
For me, it's just like that's just something they could have uploaded on their YouTube channel, you know. So
well, we know they're doing it again for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I am so excited for this assembled series. It's going to be great.
This is what I wanted for Marvel Legends, and we're getting it now with Marvel's Assembled. So
great title, by the way.
I am really looking forward to this. And with what they were, it sounded like they're going to do some stuff for the movies as well. So I'm hoping that Black Widow gets one, Shang Chi, and they even go back and do some of the older ones. I think
that would be really cool if they went back to do the old ones from the Infinity Saga.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So whenever they start going back to some of the older ones, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see one on Incredible Hulk. That would be so cool. I don't know if they can because it's owned by Universal, but that would be cool just to see like the behind the scenes and what happened with that. You know why. You know what happened with Edward Norton and stuff like that. I think that'd be awesome.
You know, I was thinking about Marvel Legends. So I've specifically mentioned in the past, I was like, they could do Legends for like Daredevil or Defenders or whatever. And you pointed out, Bryce, like, you know, that's Netflix and it's TVMA, so this may be tricky for Disney Plus to do that. It would be so cool if for like, say something like The Incredible Hulk or say something like the Netflix shows where the rights are a little trickier. If they could just do like an animated episode of Marvel Legends that like told the story, because then like you could do The Incredible Hulk, but you could insert animated Mark Ruffalo instead of Edward Norton into that. You know, you could do Iron Fist and Power Man and make it like more lighthearted, but still telling the story of what happened.
That would be awesome. Never going to happen, but that would be
probably
awesome.
not. But
probably not. But it'd be cool.
Like I said, there's such potential. They could do so many great things with Legends to get, you know, more casual fans up to speed in creative, exciting ways. And I hope that they do that. I'm enjoying what they did with WandaVision. I'm sure they're looking forward to seeing the Bucky and Sam episodes. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I think they're doing ones on Sharon and Zemo too.
And that would be sick.
That would be awesome, especially Zemo. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
For sure.
So Marvel's Assembled coming soon. Definitely keep an eye out for that. Next up on the Marvel news, I've got some for Hawkeye and Black Widow fans out here. You know, the OG Avengers Shield agents. We've got the second Black Widow arriving in Atlanta very recently on set to film Hawkeye, the upcoming Disney Plus show with Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld. And personally, I really like Florence Pugh. She was great in Fighting with My Family and then Midsummer. And I'm really excited for that movie in general. Yelena Belova, the second Black Widow, I think she's going to be really cool. She's not really what I'm most excited for about the film, but I'm looking forward to her, and it makes me happy to see that they're continuing her story. We are going to have a second Black Widow. You know, her showing up in Hawkeye is just solid proof of that. So that's exciting for fans of the character, certainly. Either y'all have any thoughts on Black Widow and Hawkeye?
I mean, it's cool to see the connection, you know, that Black Widow isn't just going to be some prequel that has nothing to do with anything, you know, because I mean, obviously she's dead, so she's probably not going to come back.
Right. I hope not. Her Natasha, death in Endgame was great.
Yes.
It really was very well done, and I don't need.
They did a good job.
More of her.
Yeah. So I don't want her back. I think the Black Widow movie is definitely long overdue. They should have done it from phase 1. It kind of ticks me off that this is going to be the only movie that we get probably with Scarlett Johansson. But it's the way they did it, I guess. So at least we're getting this one.
I'm really excited that we're finally getting a Black Widow movie, and I'm excited that that Yelena Belova is going to be in Hawkeye too. It'll be a good connection, and I think it'll be cool too seeing how Hawkeye, how Clint Barton reacts to Yelena, considering her connection to Natasha. And that'll be kind of a cool way to kind of connect.
I didn't even really consider that. It's going to be awesome, actually. Scenes where they're kind of first getting together. Now, I do think Hawkeye might be in Black Widow.
I was getting ready to say that. So, like, Jeremy Renner's totally in the movie.
Taskmaster uses a bow and arrow at one point. Right. So I'm like, that's clean Hawkeye.
And then aren't they going to explain like what happened in Budapest? So they have to do that with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So yeah, because Hawkeye obviously was involved in that. So
yeah, that story's long overdue.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely going to be exciting. So keep your eyes on Hawkeye. We are going to do one of our famous non-commercial breaks in just a second here. Once we come back, we've got a little bit more Marvel news, a little bit of Miss Marvel, Thor 4, Shang Chi, which and these are all going to be kind of smaller tidbits. But then we've got a lot of good DC stuff. Richard's got multiple exclusives we're going to talk about. We've got
some good stuff.
Casting confirmations, Snyder Cut news. So we'll be right back with you. Thank you guys very much for watching. We love you. See you in a minute.
We'll see you in a minute.
Well, welcome back, folks. We got breaking news here on the show. Some
background change
from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier have been revealed, and this is somber.
Definitely looks.
Steve is definitely dead, right, folks?
He's super dead.
It looks super ominous. It calls to mind in Winter Soldier when he goes and meets with Peggy. She's old.
Yeah.
Dementia. That's what it makes me think of. It kind of breaks my heart, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene gets sadder every time I watch it.
There have been more images revealed other than this, but this is definitely obviously the one that people are talking about right now.
Yeah.
So, So if the trailer wasn't clear, I think there's definitely going to be a funeral scene, and I believe this is from episode 1.
It's got to be.
So, I think we're starting off like boom, Cap's dead.
That's a heavy way to start the show.
Yeah,
seriously.
I was expecting that to be towards the middle or end, but that's tough.
Maybe even the early middle, but yeah.
So yeah, we're starting off right there with Steve Rogers probably dying.
Right.
And
like it was kind of expected because he's over 100 years old and he's lived his life and everything, but it's still, I mean, he's a founding member of the Avengers and he played a huge role throughout the Infinity Saga. So that's going to be a big thing to deal with in this series.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Definitely a little depressing. Not gonna lie.
A little bit, yeah.
It is.
So I'll just kind of move towards the middle. We can
the nice window light coming in behind you. It looks good, Bryce.
Yeah, right.
I'll still go off to the side a little bit. But,
On a somewhat more upbeat note, a character that I think will probably serve a rather similar role to what Captain America kind of did moving forward is Shang Chi. We're getting his movie. Hopefully, you said July, right, Richard?
July, yeah.
Hopefully, July. If we get delayed, which is probably going to be happen. Let's be realistic.
We'll see.
It would probably be November, right? Because that's the next slot, Eternals. If they if they continue to do what they've been doing and just move everything back by one. And we'll see it in November. Regardless, I do think we'll see Shang-Chi this year. And as we know, Marvel likes to synergize their products. So we are getting a new Shang-Chi miniseries, a 5-issue mini. This was recently announced. Writer Jean Luen Yang and artist Dyke Ruin are doing that. And that's pretty exciting. He got, I think, just a one-shot not too long ago. And who knows, if this does well, it could lead into a full ongoing series.
Oh, when the movie comes out, they'll bring him in for an ongoing.
They always do those tie-in comics too. So
yeah.
You know what was tough? Morbius. So there was a Morbius ongoing that I was really enjoying, right? And it was getting ready for the movie to come out. That's kind of why they did it, obviously. But then with COVID and whatnot, Marvel was like cutting titles like left and right. They were like, we're just not doing it. And so Morbius was one of the ones that got slashed, right? And then very recently, and you have to remember that Morbius was about to come out. We got a one shot. It was called like Morbius Bond of Blood or something like that. That obviously was supposed to tie into the movie, which now takes place is now coming out in October. So it was
2022 now. It's 2022.
Did Morbius get shifted?
They pushed it back again because No Time to Die took October.
That sucks. I didn't even realize. Well, so maybe we'll get another Morbius thing that starts and gets canceled, or just one before the movie. I mean,
I think they'll probably either do a new one or bring it back whenever the movie.
Hopefully, they're setting up some cool stuff, and it sucks when you got a good comic and it gets canceled because then you just
for sure.
But that's so Shang-Chi fans get excited for that. We've got some other stuff. You want to tell the people about our Miss Marvel news, Rich?
Yeah. So we have our next new cast member of the Disney Plus series, Miss Marvel, Zoe Zimmer, who is one of Kamala's best friends in the comics after initially kind of being enemy/bully. Girl named Laurel Marsden is going to be playing her. It's officially reported by the Hollywood Reporter. She hasn't been in a ton, just the same as Iman Vellani. I think she's only got like 2 projects on her IMDb page, but she'll be playing Zoe Zimmer. And it'll be good to get a few newcomers into the show. Obviously Iman Vellani is super fresh. I don't think she has one major IMDb credit on her resume right now, and she's taking on one of the most popular new characters in the MCU. And I think her and Laurel Marsden are going to be great in the show.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for Miss Marvel. She's not my favorite character in the world. I don't like hate her or anything, but the stuff that I've seen her in and the comics that I've read, she's just never like blown me away. But she's an Inhuman, and so there's a kind of a lot writing on that for me. I'm interested to see how they tackle the Inhuman story. And the big question for me with Miss Marvel is that, to me, it feels like they kind of want something that kind of style wise and something that brings in the same kind of crowd that like Spider-Man Homecoming would. Maybe a little bit younger, more female crowd that they're going for with Miss Marvel. But, it's definitely, she's kind of like a gamer girl. She's like really into like fanfics and stuff. There's definitely, I see parallels between her and Peter Parker. So can they stick the landing and make this Disney Plus show the huge success that WandaVision is, that we expect, Loki and Falcon the Winter Soldier to be, but like these are tried and trusted brands, obviously Captain Marvel did very well, and Miss Marvel is related to that. But and you I guess you had the Avengers video game, right? And so that introduced
the PS4 one
to Kamala.
Terrible game, but
I've never played it.
I think Miss Marvel was pretty cool in it. But
story, it's nothing to do with her at all. The game is just
the story, the Miss Marvel stuff. Like she was the one like holding up the game. She was probably the only good part of the game, honestly. So I mean, just horrible gameplay. I played 5 hours and I couldn't play anymore. But I think Miss Marvel will be hugely successful. I mean, because I think she's going to have that Peter Parker charm, that everybody loves in the MCU Spider-Man movie. So I think it's just going to be like that, but on Disney Plus. So I'm really excited. I think it'll just be another kind of girl Spider-Man. You know what you know what I'm saying? Like
totally
girl Peter Parker. Like,
like it's like a similar kind of vibe.
Like geeky, just like
but still kind of charming, nerdy, but like that kind of person that you want to sit down and share a root beer.
Absolutely, with. And it's a good thing. I'm looking forward to it. So,
but it'll hopefully be very good. I think everyone kind of expects it to be, as we always do with Marvel. One more.
It's Marvel Studios proper, so I mean, They rarely miss. So
and one quick point I wanted to add before we move on. You were saying how this is going to be like the first new character that they're going to center around in these Disney Plus shows. I'm really excited to see how they do with that, because the shows coming out before, obviously WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, and What If. they are all centered on characters that we've seen their stories. I mean, what if, aside. But Ms. Marvel, we have never seen or heard of Ms. Marvel within the MCU.
Brand new.
So that's going to be a really cool thing to see Marvel Studios tackling that in this Disney Plus show for the first time.
Yeah, it definitely makes me more excited for the show when you consider that kind of facet to it. No doubt.
Absolutely.
So the final kind of bit of Marvel news, unless I'm forgetting something and it comes to me later, has to do with another upcoming project. Bryce, you wanna tell people what's going on there? Good old John Watts
this
directed.
Is the Marvel? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So, well,
you can go into as much detail as you'd like.
Yeah. So the Jennifer Lawrence stuff happened. Whether want to believe it or not, that's up to you. But who was it? Someone from Deadline reported on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who it was.
Let me see. I can pull them up.
But they reported that
Justin Kroll said.
Justin Kroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they reported that they are just now looking for writers to start to write Fantastic Four, directed by John Watts. So, interesting. Jennifer Lawrence is supposed to be arriving in Australia to film Fantastic Four. So, take that with a,
grain of salt.
Yeah, the Jennifer Lawrence part, that is. Just to be clear, but it's obviously it still could be possible. Jennifer Lawrence could still be in talks, but she's definitely not flying to Australia. I'll tell you that much.
They're not filming.
At least not to film that. Not to film Fantastic Four. So again, so she could still end up being Sue Storm, and she could be in the running.
I really don't.
She's definitely not my first choice. No offense to Jennifer Lawrence. I liked her.
No offense.
In the first couple X-Men movies that she did. And then, the X-Men movies got worse, and her character did along with it. Not her fault. Just the kind of the whole
anyways.
It was just kind of the decline of the X-Men as a whole.
Yeah.
But
I can agree with that.
So,
sure.
But they are looking for they are starting to search for the writers for this movie, which is exciting. I am so pumped for Fantastic Four. As soon as they announced that John Watts was attached to the direct, I was completely on board.
Me too.
Because I love what he's done with Spider-Man. Besides that Mysterio scene that I ranted about earlier, but I have full confidence in that John Watts is going to do great on this Fantastic Four movie. I am excited to see Marvel Studios proper tackle a Fantastic Four movie, because that hasn't happened yet before. And I think if anybody's going to finally get the Fantastic Four right, it's going to be Marvel. I did like the original, the 2005, was it? I am a fan of that one.
They're better than people remember them, honestly.
Yeah. So they're definitely not Fantastic bad, the 2015. Holy cow. If you haven't watched Fantastic yet,
don't.
Because it starts off really strong, and then it just completely nosedives after they get their powers. It's amazing. Just the quickest turn that I've seen a movie take. Like it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe my eyes while watching. But probably the worst comic book movie ever made.
It's in the running.
It's in my top 5 worst Marvel movies.
Because there's 5 movies like Batman and Robin and Catwoman where they're like they can be guilty pleasures because they're fun, right?
Yeah.
They're so bad it's good.
Time too.
Yeah, they're so bad it's good. But with Fantastic, it's literally just monotonously terrible. Like there's no
you can't
fun
even
parts.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, there's nothing fun about Fantastic. So hopefully they can definitely rebound from that. There's definitely only one way up from there. So I don't think that you can make it any worse. So I'm definitely looking forward to Fantastic Four.
I have a couple quick thoughts for you, Corbin.
For sure.
I mean, the movie, assuming that everything sticks to the schedule, which obviously that is totally up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. That movie isn't scheduled to come out for at least 2 years anyways. Yes. So the fact that they're starting to look for the writers, that makes a ton of sense. I think they're doing the same thing. Actually, they just hired the writer for Blade, which is scheduled to come out sometime like within 6 months or a year. of Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be a while until we hear any casting news or anything. But on the other end, I am so excited for Marvel Studios to finally get their hands on Marvel's first family. I mean, like you said, Bryce, the first Fantastic Four movie, the one with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba and Michael Chiklis and everything, it's a better movie than people remember it, like when it first came out. It's not great, but it's right in line with the, mid 2000s superhero movies. Mm-hmm. But Marvel Studios getting their hands on such a popular property. I mean, this is, I think, the team of heroes that people most want to see join the MCU, especially after the Fox merger. And I think they're going to nail it. And the John Watts thing, the only thing I'm nervous about for the John Watts Fantastic Four actually doesn't even have anything to do with Fantastic Four. It's the future of the Spider-Man franchise, because they're doing the third one. I know Tom Holland says they've said that he's going to be sticking around for a while. I don't know if they're going to do any more Spider-Man solo movies, particularly with John Watts now that he's doing Fantastic Four. But regardless, I'm excited for John Watts to do Fantastic Four.
Something just real quick. One thing that we didn't mention during the WandaVision segment, where the hell was John Krasinski? Reed Richards, where was he?
Yeah.
Who even was that? Like, I don't know who that was. And the actress who plays Monica says that she was really excited for people to see who it was. Mm-hmm. So I think has she shown up before? Oh, okay. You don't think that was the aerospace engineer?
No, I think the aerospace engineer show up in the next
and
episode.
Her contact. Yeah, I think the aerospace engineer and her contact are two different people.
Oh, okay. So you think you don't think that was the aerospace engineer?
I don't think so.
Because I was just I'm just sitting here going like, okay, I didn't expect it to be John Krasinski, but she said that she is really excited for us to see who it is, and then it's someone that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
It was a cool. It was definitely a really cool moment in the show, like where she gets in the tank and tries to barrel through the hex.
That was cool. Yeah.
But it's just like, I was just a little confused because the I can't remember what her name is, but the actress who plays Rambo
Paris,
was like, I can't wait to see who can't wait for you guys to find out who the aerospace engineer is. And then
I think it's still coming.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope so too, because that was just a weird reveal for me. It's
for sure.
Like just some character that hasn't shown
just
up
some random character. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see it soon.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and I will say, I think, Rich, I'm going to be absolutely shocked if we don't get more solo Tom Holland Spidey movies, or he's leading some sort of team thing even after John Watts leaves. And I'll be honest, if I'm right about that, I'm really excited to see a new director step in, and I assume make another trilogy, because I think Spider-Man 1 through 6 is quite probable. After 6, it's kind of risky business. It's like, do you continue at that point?
Yeah.
Do you kill him in the
Tom Holland will probably
one?
be like 30 at that point.
And he has stated in the past that he loves playing the role and that he would love to play it for a very long time. So it's like, but where does one draw the line? I don't know. But
eventually you got to bring in Miles.
As long as Sony, right? And there's no doubt about that. But there's no reason that you can't have Spider-Man and then Spider-Man running at the same time.
Well, I see them do
franchise-wise.
Yes, I see them do. I do see them doing a second trilogy. This is no insider knowledge. This is just me.
This is the good
idiots not to. But I see them doing another trilogy, like a college trilogy. And then afterwards, maybe in like the 6th film, Miles Morales shows up. And then he becomes the next star of the next couple Spider-Man movies after that. So I think they'll make even more than 6.
There's no way they wait that long on Miles.
Well,
no way in hell.
But I think it is possible, because right now Miles is probably like what? Like he was like 8 or something in Homecoming. He was really young in Homecoming. So he has to at least be like 15, 16 for it to make sense for him to become Spider-Man. So I think it will be that long. Maybe 5, but definitely not 4. But so he's definitely going to show up sometime in this probable second trilogy, and then I think Miles will then go on to have his own trilogy. So we'll have even more Spider-Man movies after 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. So
Spider-Man's gonna be sticking around for a while.
Something that I hope so.
Do want to point out about Miles is, you don't have to you can do Venom with a Miles Morales movie. You don't have to put Spider-Man in it. Tom Holland doesn't have to be there.
Yeah.
So
right.
you could launch the Miles Morales franchise totally independently of Homecoming, or of the Homecoming franchise, and then have just those run, and then have them and it go in and out.
That is definitely true. I just don't see them going that route. I see them having Miles become his sidekick, and then eventually he'll take over like Peter did
become
for
the
Iron
star.
Man.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely a logical way to take it.
Kind of like the PS4 game, in that series.
Right.
So,
gotcha.
He kind of
great game. That's a great game.
I have 100%ed it, so I've got all the trophies, everything.
I've gotten pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but yeah, it's kind of like, Miles was a main character in that game. He didn't have his powers yet, but then at the very end of the post-credit scene, he gets his powers. And then the next game is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Peter goes on vacation, then he leaves New York to him for a week.
Nice.
So,
exactly.
And then of course, stuff hits the fan. But
it always does.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm not saying that like in the MCU, Peter's going to go on vacation, and that's why they make the Miles Morales movie. I think probably Peter's going to step down.
And
or die.
And that's still a few years away for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think that about concludes our Marvel stuff. So moving on to DC. Richard, why don't you get us started? You've had an exclusive about Constantine over at HBO Max, and then GCPD as well. That's not the official title, but that's kind of just what I've been referring.
What we're going with right now. Yeah,
it's the GCPD show. So tell us about that.
Yeah, exactly. So they are developing a new Constantine show for HBO Max. It's produced by J.J. Abrams, who obviously did a couple of the Star Wars movies. They're hoping to cast a person of color in the lead role, someone kind of like Riz Ahmed, I think is his name, who's actually in Venom.
Yes. Riot. And what's his name?
Wait, he played the villain, right?
Yeah.
Venom.
He
would be a good as Constantine.
Oh,
so they're looking.
He would be good.
I gotta look it up.
They're looking for somebody like him.
Oh, so it's just like such and such like. Okay.
Exactly. Similar. Yeah.
Well, I would kind of like to see him play Constantine. Honestly,
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then it's written by Guy Bolton.
Gotcha.
And then written by Guy Bolton. And then it's there's no release date or anything. They're in the early stages of casting right now. But yeah, Constantine's coming to HBO Max.
I think Corbin was supposed to lead, but what else did we have? Oh, Justice League. Definitely, there was some stuff going on there with the Snyder Cut. There was a feature release.
Yeah.
And then the new images of Joker. So there was a whole feature going on there. But yeah, the new images of Joker, we got Corbin back, but so yeah, the new images of Joker really annoy the crap out of me. I was complaining about this last week, how they've been revealing too much, and here we go again with more images of Joker that would have been really cool just to see in the movie. But here we are again. Another thing spoiled for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let me be clear here. I'm really excited for this movie. I really can't wait to see the Snyder Cut. It's just I just want to be surprised with something, and it's just like everything just keeps coming out. Like
right. So, just ridiculous.
As the Snyder Cut news goes, it's double-edged sword here, because obviously we've got the Joker Christ kind of image thing going on, but they also revealed that there's supposed to be some big crazy cameo, much like WandaVision, at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well,
they described us. Well, I don't think it's Martian Manhunter, because
for Snyder Cut we're just running out of characters because there's so many in them.
But they said that it was one of the new scenes that they shot, and then wasn't it reported that Henry Lennox was a part of those reshoots?
I mean, they could be talking about Martian Manhunter. That would be stupid. But let me see if I can pull the quote real quick, and because I think it might have been Deborah Snyder who said it. Because Deborah Snyder said it, and she knows that we already know that Martian Manhunter's in it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to.
So
I'm just a little pessimistic about it, because we already know pretty much everything about this movie. So I could probably tell you the plot right now, and it'd be pretty damn close. So,
yeah, probably.
Yeah. Let's see. But I mean, I hope it's Green Lantern because that's the only other person it could be. But so yeah, even then, we know everything else to the point to where it's pretty much it's Green Lantern. Then if it's not Martian Manhunter, then it's Green Lantern.
I've got it. So we have it's the classic DC light year face. Unless it's not, but that seems unlikely. So I pulled up the Vanity Fair article where this is from. And basically what I think it's saying is that he did shoot more stuff aside
Henry
from
Lennox?
the scene.
Harry
Snyder.
Lennox, yeah.
Harry, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, just Snyder in general here. So there was obviously you got the Martian Manhunter stuff, Joker stuff, Deathstroke, Mira.
Yeah.
But in the Vanity Fair article, it says he has reshot the ending with a hero cameo that will blow hardcore fans' minds, right? And so we know Martian Manhunter.
I mean,
we know he's in it, and also he was in the Justice League cartoon. That doesn't seem like a deep cut.
He's a key member of the Justice League
fan.
So is Green Lantern, but that's the only other thing that people are speculating about.
People speculate Lantern too, but I'm like, Snyder also knows that we know Lantern is in it because he's been open about this. He's posted like things. That
I don't know. I'm just prepared to be disappointed,
dumb, man. If they are being dumb about it, and it is Lantern or Manhunter at the very end of the movie, I am going to be rather upset.
Here's what exactly happened.
Stupid, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Here's the exact events that transpired that led to this. So Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder are huge fans of the show, and they listened to my rant about how everything's been being spoiled, and so they're backpedaling, and this is all just a ruse, and it's literally just Martian Manhunter that we already know about. Snyder We've already seen him, and by the way, huge thanks to Zach
what happened
for tuning in.
Oh my God!
I mean, by the way, for people watching at home, this is a joke. I don't think he watches the show.
Crazy if he did, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
So with the Snyder cut, I'm excited for it. We'll know when we know who the cameo is, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like we'll get there when we'll get there. But yeah,
Manhunter or Green Lantern.
Going back to you. So you already told us about your Constantine news, the GCPD stuff. You want to tell us about that?
Oh. Yeah, absolutely. So GCPD, there's no title for it or anything yet. There's a lot that we don't know about the show, but the exclusive I had was that they released descriptions for a couple of characters that they are casting in the GCPD show. There's a lead female character who is Black, 35 to 45, former detective who becomes the new Gotham DA. And then there's also a male 30 to 40-year-old who's a police detective who works for Commissioner Gordon. It's early in the casting right now, just as it is with Constantine. And then the show is also confirmed to start shooting this summer.
Nice.
And it's going to tie in directly with the Batman. So like I said, a lot we don't know about this, but they're looking for those two lead roles right now.
That's interesting. I didn't know it was coming out before the Batman.
I don't know if it's coming out before or after, but I'm assuming it's gonna be pretty close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, it's a spinoff of the Batman, Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson, and that's going to be part of its own timeline, its own separate continuity.
Yes.
I assume you didn't see any insider information on where Constantine fits, because it's like Constantine.
No. That's
I believe
that reminds me, guys.
Go ahead. What's up, Bryce?
We had that fan question come in that we got to answer.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Let's
first fan question.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah.
Well, while you pull that, what I was basically just saying is, where does Constantine and Green Lantern Corps and like Strange Adventures and shows like this, where do they fit into continuity? Are they their own HBO Max thing? Are they Doom Patrol? Are they Titans? Are they DCEU? I wish we knew, but unfortunately, no news, to the best of my knowledge, has come out confirming where that's from.
No idea.
So that kind of sucks. But
yeah, absolutely.
Do you have that question, Bryce?
Still pulling it up.
Gotcha.
But I guess in the meantime, what else was there? The Wonder Girl stuff.
Yeah.
So Wonder Girl was a series that was in development for the CW for a while, and Unfortunately, it seems like, according to one of the lead writers, it has been passed on, and I don't think it will be shopped anywhere else from the phrasing in her tweet.
It sounded pretty dead.
Yeah, it was basically like, hey, thanks for all your support, but
it's not happening.
Yeah, basically. And so that's kind of sad. It definitely was an oddball pick for a show, considering the version of Wonder Girl that they had chosen was in the comic for she wasn't in the comics yet whenever they announced
the show. The show was announced before she debuted in Future State, which I read a couple issues of Future State in a line that featured her. She was cool. I would have been interested, but it's dead. So
and it doesn't mean that it won't ever happen. It's just it's not happening right now. And we still don't really know what's going on with the Arrowverse, but we'll actually get into that with our fan question here. I don't have a name from who this came from. By the way, if you guys want to send in fan questions, definitely
please do.
Hit us up on Twitter. Send them in the chat, and we can answer them because while we're in the premiere, or if we're not able to make it to the premiere, then we can go back and look at them and then try to answer
next
them.
Week.
Yeah. And then we do plan on hopefully going live here pretty soon.
At some point,
hopefully at this time. I hope we don't have to change the time. But hopefully we will be going live here soon, and then you can ask your questions through either super chat or maybe we can even get to some in the regular chat as well. But this question comes from an unnamed fan. Walter Hamada stated, in addition, DC Films is which is a part of Warner Brothers. We will work with filmmakers to develop movie offshoots, a TV series that will run on HBO Max and interconnect with big screen endeavors. He specifically referred to the DC Extended Universe. My question is, will shows like Green Lantern, DC Superhero High, and Justice League Dark for HBO Max take place within the DCEU? And a lot of fans have been speculating a lot about the Arrowverse as well, because they've been talking about as DC TV as a whole. And I think that's possible because I don't really see where else the Arrowverse is gonna go from here. I feel like they've pretty much done what they can after Crisis. After Crisis, I think they pretty much told all of the big, huge crossover stories that they want to tell, especially since there was even before COVID, there was nothing planned this year in terms of a big crossover. They were going to do a World's Finest with Batwoman and Superman, but then that got canceled. But then that was only just two of the shows. So I think even connectivity with the Arrowverse is possible, but specifically asking the question about the HBO Max shows like Green Lantern, DC Superhero High, and Justice League Dark. I definitely think the HBO Max shows are huge contenders to be interwoven into the DCEU. Even shows like Titans and Doom Patrol that have already been going on for a while. I think maybe due to some events that could potentially happen in Flashpoint, they could potentially be retconned to be into the DCEU. I think I would prefer that for DC and for Titans and Doom Patrol, because they're definitely in the same tone as that. They definitely aren't Arrowverse level shows. So I think definitely Green Lantern and Justice League Dark, like you stated in the question, is definitely very possible. DC Superhero High, I don't really know too much about that. So I'm going to say probably no on that one. That seems like to be kind of like a weird one. Is that live action? I don't know.
So I just looked it up, and it looks like there's not very much news about it. It was announced at one point that Elizabeth Banks was developing a TV show called DC Superhero High. We don't know if that was going to be live action. We don't know if that was going to we don't know where it was supposed to fit or who it was supposed to feature. So it's really hard to say, but I doubt it based on the branding.
And it seems to be similar to the DC Superhero Girls or whatever. That's on.
It definitely sounds like it, and so that doesn't feel like a contender.
At least for me, I think the stuff more along the lines of like the Batman or the Gotham PD, Green Lantern. Obviously, Peacemaker is going to be DCU. Yes. We know that for sure. But I'm thinking those other two are probably more likely than the other ones.
Strange Adventures as well.
With Justice League Dark, we're at a point now where we've had reports, some stronger than others. Constantine obviously comes from the Illuminerdi, so I buy that. But Zatanna and Swamp Thing also been rumored to have new shows. This would not be a continuation of DC Universe's Swamp Thing. This would be a new reboot TV show that would tie into this franchise that J.J. Abrams is kind of, overseeing. And it seems like a total waste to not have that be a part of the DCU. At the same time, they've got enough stuff going on there that they could be building their own universe. They, that 3 shows and then a 4th crossover Justice League Dark team up type deal. You could do that independently, and that's going to give J.J. Abrams more creative freedom.
Keep in mind that Flashpoint's getting ready to happen. So they're getting ready to reset everything probably anyway. So I totally see, since Flashpoint's going to be a thing next year, I'm pretty sure. It was originally called Flashpoint, but then they changed it back to Flash, but then they've talked about how it's going to be Flashpoint. So I'm pretty sure it's still a Flashpoint movie, especially since Michael Keaton's in it.
It's going to be a Flashpoint movie.
It's a pretty loose adaptation of Flashpoint. I don't know if it'll be called that though.
It's just going to be called The Flash, but
gotcha.
they're obviously doing Flashpoint. They're obviously wanting to do some sort of soft reboot to the DCEU. Considering the heavy influence that HBO Max has had in Superman and Lois, and it's sort of distancing itself from the Arrowverse because they've retconned a whole bunch of stuff in that show from the Arrowverse. I'm wondering if they might be trying to make Tyler Hoechlin the main Superman, which is kind of
that would be something.
Piss a lot of people off. For Henry Cavill fans, but that could be the direction that they're going with that. But since HBO Max is helping finance it, it's definitely not really connected to the Arrowverse, even though it is.
Yeah. So in the case of Kryptonians, and just real quick, I'm maybe going to kind of speed run things here a minute. So we've only got a few bits of news left, and our Zoom meeting is coming to a close. So I figure we can probably get through everything here and wrap things up. So, but pertaining to the Kryptonians, we're talking about Flash. So Supergirl, the DCU Supergirl was just cast. Sasha Calle, maybe Call. I don't know how you say it. Calle.
She's not blonde. She can't play Supergirl.
Yeah. She's Latina, which is obviously it's a deviation from the source material, but I can definitely see her as being related to Henry Cavill. She definitely looks like it to me. Definitely. That's kind of the only thing I'm really worried about.
I can't believe the people on Twitter are saying that she can't play Supergirl because she's brunette. That's the stupidest thing. It's like, Richard said something like, have you ever heard of hair dye?
Never heard of a thing called hair dye.
So.
But I'm excited to see her in it. But I'm like,
me too.
We've already got a lot going on here.
Came out of nowhere.
Keep on announcing stuff for Flash. It's definitely going to be bloated, but hopefully it's still fun. Hopefully it's still a good.
Well,
time.
maybe. I mean, there was a major character named Cyborg that was supposed to be in a movie. Maybe Supergirl is just taking up the missing spot.
That's honestly quite possible. That's that. But I think that is probably going to be the character who's going to be the Kryptonian, getting the most money funneled her way in terms of marketing, in terms of what they're trying to build a brand as.
And she's probably going to get her own movies as well.
Almost definitely.
Yeah, at some point. But any other things we got to run through?
Yeah, so the final piece of DC news. It's another exclusive, but from me. But it just happens that I wrote it in October. Marwan Kenzari has joined the cast of Black Adam. We reported back in October that he was going to be playing a villain named Ishmael, who's most likely Ishmael Gregor, who's a comics character called Sabak. He's a really powerful demon fire guy. He says his name to get his powers, just like Shazam and Black Adam. But the Hollywood Reporter dropped an exclusive within the week saying that that Kenzari was in final talks to join the film in an undisclosed role. Kenzari then confirmed that he had joined the film shortly thereafter. It's not an undisclosed role. He's playing the villain. I don't. Yeah. It's really kind of irritating.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Steal my story if you want.
Congratulations to THR for getting it right. Good job.
Tell the complete story. Like at least admit there's some rumors that he's gonna be playing the villain. You don't even have to source me, but don't misinform your readers. That just kind of it rubbed me.
Source your news.
But exactly. But not to end the show on a sour note.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. We at the Illuminerdi absolutely love THR, Deadline. all
they
of the people.
They confirmed
all
my
the
story,
people who love to steal the scoops of the smaller sites. We love them.
Yeah, exactly. And we put in our work here.
But honestly, it does suck whenever one of the bigger guys steals a scoop. But
it just kind of stings a little, But it is what it is.
It does.
It's the name of the game. But yeah, that brings a close to all the news that we had for this week's episode of the show. We appreciate you guys so much. To everyone who tunes in, watches us rant about superheroes, we love it so much. Love watching WandaVision, discussing that with you guys. You all have any final words for our viewers?
Can't wait for the next couple episodes.
Yeah, just be sure to check us out on our website, theilluminati.com. Follow us on our social media and check out all our other shows here on the channel. We've got a bunch for you to check out. And I'll do it.
Fantastic. Thank you for tuning in. It's all connected. See y'all next time.
See you, everybody.
See ya.